Thanks, Bob.
That was in my mailbox when I got home. I said, "This is."
That's classic. That's classic.
Everybody good? Nothing's really changed since the last 8 hours since we spoke, so we'll just go straight to questions.
Eric, you gave Ethan the start at Florida. He actually did pretty good in the minutes he had. Then you played him 1 minute at against Mizzou. Then you played him 29 last night. Obviously, he was playing well. What goes into a thing where a guy starts, fouls too much, plays a minute, then he gets 30 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, he got 30 minutes. Ethan got 30 minutes last night because he played really well. And he did a great job on pick and roll coverages, going back and evaluating the film. He did a great job also of fronting the post against Fulkerson. I thought he altered some of Fulkerson's shots because he's so quick off the floor. But he did a better job fronting the post and making it difficult on the catch. He did that better than anybody last night, so therefore he stayed in the game and kept playing. And, obviously you can't play a guy a lot of minutes when he gets in foul trouble in a short amount of time. So I think that, Adrio, Reggie, Ethan, all three of those guys, like defending without fouling is really important.
What did he do I think he had 3 fouls, but, he obviously nothing like he did at Florida. What did he do to defend well without fouling too much?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is showing the refs your hands. We spent the last, probably 5 practices where we've been holding the towel above our head when we do our shell defense, and we even, for 2 days of prep for this last game, we used the towels even when we defended their sets. So I don't know. We just you gotta let the ref see your hands, and you can't get in foul trouble if the guy doesn't catch the ball, the guy you're guarding. So what we've been trying to tell our guys is, your job is to front the post, let him throw a lob, and then if the lob gets thrown over the top, it's not your fault. It's the back side or the weak side. That's their responsibility. And if you're guarding the post the way we play it, you have to be between, the pass and your man. So, we're giving up lob passes, and we're not giving up direct post feeds, and Ethan did a great job of that.
There was a moment last night after Desi made a mistake defensively. I think he came over to you, said, "I got you. My mistake. I'll make up for it." Is that self-accountability kind of a sign of growth from him?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome, because, there was no excuses. I mean, Desi owned up to the fact that, that he missed an assignment, so to speak, and there's not much you can say back to a player other than, all right, great, let's, go make it happen. It's the same thing when a ref says, hey, I missed a call. As a coach, you can't say anything else, and when a player says, hey, I missed an assignment, you kind of go, all right, great, let's move on. It's when a guy has an excuse of why he didn't be where he was supposed to be when it escalates.
Just about Georgia, just what do you know about them and what do you look for from them?
Yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of Georgia stuff last night, Nate, and they're 11-4 at home, so they play well in their own building for sure. They have a really special player in Edwards. You look at projected mock drafts or whatever, he's projected pretty high, can't get much higher. We played Markelle Fultz when he was at Washington, and he was the #1 pick in the draft, and so we're going to have some special rules on how we defend him. We have to clearly define how we're playing his pick and roll. We have to clearly define what those rules are. Obviously, when Coach Chuck Daly played against Michael Jordan when he was with the Pistons, they had the Jordan rules, and we'll come up with our own, Edwards rules that we'll start introducing to the team today.
With Ethan, do you anticipate starting him at Georgia? Is he a good matchup for that game? And just what do you expect from him down the stretch here?
Yeah, I think Bob, I hope I told you guys a couple press conferences ago that our starting lineup could be fluctuating based on matchups and stuff, and I still feel that way. I still, we don't have to trot that starting lineup out until 12 minutes before tip-off in Athens, and I really think that like what we want to do is we want to really dissect matchups, and it might not just be about, all right, who is our center going to guard? It might be about, who's our power forward going to guard, and what's the best matchup for Mason, and who's Isaiah going to guard, and so on and so forth. And obviously Jimmy's our premier defensive stopper. We got to figure out who we want him on every night, and then that might mean who our 5-man is, or is the opposition 5-man a mobile guy? Is it a guy who needs a little bit more physicality? So I think all those things play into it. But I will say that was the best start that we've gotten off maybe all season long. I thought we were phenomenal offensively. I thought we were phenomenal defensively, and Ethan played a big part in that. So what you want from any young players, you want to continue to see him grow, and most importantly, you want to see him gain confidence so that when he steps out on the floor against Georgia, he should be a more confident player and more sure of himself than he even was going into that Tennessee game.
He had, 3 offensive boards really, really quick. Obviously, that's been, an area you guys haven't been real strong because you're size challenged, I guess. What do you think about him as an offensive rebounder? What makes him good at that?
I think, anytime a guy's a good offensive rebounder, one, they have a knack for the ball or a nose for the ball. 2, he's quick, like reaction-wise. And some guys get rebounds from physicality and pushing. He can go slither around people, and he's just got a really, really quick first jump and a quick second jump. He gets off the ground faster than anybody we have, and so that helps him as well. And I think that him squeezing the ball and not bobbling it, I thought he did a great job of that last night.
With Edwards specifically, with his game, what makes him a potential, number 1 overall pick or top 5 guy? Whatever.
Great obviously his body. He's physically strong. He's quick. He's fast. He's explosive. He makes highlight reel plays. He's got 3 or 4 every game. He's a great transition scorer. He can make threes. He explosive to the rim. He creates live ball turnovers that lead to dunks and transition points for him and his teammate. I think he's a pretty good passer as well.
I haven't seen them play a lot. Highlight plays, you mean like breakaway dunks? Or
breakaway dunks. I've seen him make 30-foot bounce passes in transition to a teammate. Block shots. Steals, jumping in passing lanes, and then finishing at the other end. You go all the way back to Hawaii, made a huge shot, a pull-up 3-ball to win a game. I mean, he's a great player.
Is I guess Jimmy on him probably? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we're still, again, because it's like, Jimmy's done a great job on point guards too, so we're still trying. Wheeler's got some good quickness and is crafty getting to the cup. So we still got some decisions to make, where we don't have to, today's our first day of prep. And what I usually do is, we'll go through Georgia's personnel today. After we go through their personnel, I'll tell them what I think the matchups should look like, and then I'll ask them for feedback and see if they want to alter the matchups a little bit. So that's kind of what today will look like.
Yeah, just your overall thoughts on just Desi's play since Saturday. Mason really last night pointed to his toughness as a big thing.
With Desi? Yeah, Scotty, Desi's shooting the ball well. He's just playing with more confidence. He's really been really good at home. Now we need him to carry that confidence and that bravado onto a road game as well, because I do think he's played really good basketball at home, and we need him to have a big road game as well.
After absorbing all those tough, mostly close losses without Isaiah, like I said, now it looks like you guys are back on track. I know it's a lot easier to win at home than on the road, but how do you feel about the team's mindset? I think I heard Chuck asked you on the radio the other night about, you talked to him about the NCAA and You guys are obviously rising up through the net. I think you're up 8 spots since the last 2 wins. Just kind of how do you approach that with the guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing we control is Georgia game, and there's just so much basketball to be played. I mean, you listen to everything out there, like, I mean, there's a whole third season about to begin when you talk about a conference tournament. Not just for us, but like the WCC has got a conference tournament. We have no idea who's going to get the automatic bid in that conference. Like, what if Gonzaga doesn't win? What if BYU doesn't win that game? What if St. Mary's doesn't win that conference? Because that's a conference that could have 3 at-large bids, and somebody could, that we don't know, University of San Francisco or Santa Clara could win that thing, and then that throws everything out of whack. So the only thing that our guys and our staff need to worry about is how do we go to Athens and win that game, and then when that game's over, whatever the results are, how do we get ready for LSU? Because it's not like it's a one-game season, because there's a whole lot of stuff that's going to happen between now and Selection Sunday.
Tom Crean's always spoken highly of you, like on the SEC call and the SEC media days. So I'm assuming you guys must know each other.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked when he was at Marquette. We got together and had a little basketball chalk talk. And, I mean, I think he's a coach that really respects coaches, obviously, in his family with the Harbaughs. And I mean, he's a guy that loves to coach. He's a guy that respects coaches. At the, my first, SEC meeting in Florida before we had played a game, that's who I sat next to because that's who I felt comfortable with. I think he does a great job. When you look at the youth of his team and what they're going to look like in the future, like he's got so many great young pieces. And he's building that thing the right way, and he's everywhere he's gone, he wins. I mean, that's just who he is.
Did you get to watch? I think Edwards scored 36 last night in that overtime game against Carolina. Did you get to watch that yet, or?
Did watch it? Yes.
What did you think of his performance in that game?
I think that everybody's defense is different. I mean, he played incredible. Anytime a guy scores over 30 in a 40-minute college game is
Actually, it's 45.
Because of the overtime. Thank you for correcting me. I don't know how many scored in overtime though.
Well, that's true.
But he phenomenal player. But everybody's defense is different. I mean, for a stretch there, they kind of denied him the ball. They deny a little bit different than we deny, meaning South Carolina, and then they got away from denying him for a stretch, and then they played a little bit of zone, and so we're not going to play any zone. So I think, every defense that he faces is probably a little bit different, just as, every team defends a little bit differently.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. The back row is quiet today.